Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at in this beautiful planet of ours. This is Metaphysical Mocha Mondays here on the Intuitive Prospector page. Happy Memorial Day weekend to you. Looks like we have a few people coming on, joining the conversation for this morning. I'm Marc, the Intuitive Prospector here in Seattle, Washington, doing my Monday, Metaphysical Mocha Monday, every Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for joining this morning. We're going to be sharing a few things. I'm going to give you your prospecting crystal for the week. I'm going to give you your totem animal for the week and also give you your numerology number for the week. You'll notice that I'm wearing my my American flag hat, which is also represented by nature. And today is Memorial Day, our way of giving back and honoring and thanking our veterans and those that have fallen in the line of duty to protect and make America what America is today. So I'm going to give today's message about 30 minutes. If you guys don't mind, my producer is off today, but if you guys could share out to a couple group pages that you like that might be spiritual, metaphysical, meditation, just help us grow the page. That would be fantastic to help us grow grassroots and just reach people. It's about connecting, about giving a message out, and just being part of the Metaphysical Mocha Monday community. So good morning. We've got a couple people tuning in. I want to give a shout out to both Lisa and Paula who are helping me share out today since my producer is off. So thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Paula. I really appreciate you guys. Namaste. And let's see. Good morning, Misty. Good morning, Christina from Wenatchee. I'll actually be in your neck of the woods in 2 weeks for a little bit of wine tasting, and looking forward to that. Let's see here. Good morning. Let's see who else is on today. Karen, good day. How are you? Good afternoon, Colette from UK. Frank, hey, good morning, Frank. Karen, good morning. Love the American flag. Lamorla, good morning. Barbara, Sheldon, good morning. Donetta. So Samantha, just kind of giving some shout outs to everybody, and make sure if you haven't already, make sure to hit the like button or the turn on notification when I go live. I'm bouncing in between pages right now, kind of playing with a few different things for algorithms. The Intuitive Prospector page, make sure to like that, turn on the notification. I've also put in my YouTube library list, which has over 170 videos, 3 years of Inspired Living Radio, Soul Adventures, hiking, diving, and of course Metaphysical Mocha. So if you get bored and you want to do something during lunch and listen to a podcast, check out my YouTube playlist, which is in the link in the description field. So this morning we're talking about Memorial Day, and I'm going to give you a few things to think about when it comes to Memorial Day. I myself am a student of life, and I think it's important to understand why we do what we do, why we celebrate what we celebrate, even why we say what we say. So I'm going to start off with every Metaphysical Mocha Monday with a glass of coffee, a glass of tea, a protein shake. I've actually got both. I got my protein shake this morning, hemp infused. I'm doing a lot of hemp, the plant hemp, as far as hemp oil and hemp protein, not to be confused with marijuana and THC, but actually just using the dietary supplement, which has made a huge difference in my journey. And of course, the coffee or tea. Today I'm drinking English breakfast. So, and I've got my grateful cup for all of the veterans and all of the soldiers who have given their life for us. I always say that freedom is not free, and we need to remember that. So we're celebrating Memorial Day weekend here in the United States. I know we have a few of you that are watching outside of the United States. Thank you for participating and being a part of today's conversation. And again, just please, if you guys could share out and help me grow the page, grow the message, grow the show, I would really be honored if you would do that. So let's talk about Memorial Day. One other reminder, if you guys stick around for the overtime show, this show will end right at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then I'll come back on the Intuitive Prospector page for overtime, which is my Q&A after show, and you guys can have a direct conversation with me. Today's overtime show, I think I'm going to focus in on mediumship and connecting with your loved ones that are veterans in the spirit world. And then, of course, if you want a reading or just some guidance for the week. That's what this show is about. It's about inspiration. It's about guidance. It's about just looking at life, what the week ahead is for you, what life is about, kind of thinking outside the box. That's a lot of the work that I do in spiritualism, as far as, just guidance, spiritual teaching, metaphysics, meditation, mediumship, psychic abilities, awareness, intuition, and that's what this show and community is all about. So make sure to say hi to each other in the community. It's not just about me talking to you, but you talking to other spiritual prospectors in search of their own spiritual goal. So today, Memorial Day, let me jump into the topic because I think it's very important. Thanks, Lisa says, love the hat. Yeah, it's my it's one of my hiking hats. So it's the American flag, but it's represented in trees because I think nature is a big connection for us as humans, and we need to have that connection to nature. But it also represents freedom. So today, just talking about Memorial Day and what that means. And like I said, from a spiritual background, I like to understand what we do and why we do it as a student of life. And I hope that all of you, if you don't understand something, go research it. We have the power. Growing up, I had Encyclopedia Brown, didn't have the internet. You have the internet and all of the information and knowledge at your hands. To research and to trust what you're reading based on your own intuition. Buddha talked about not believing people or not believing things, but trusting your own intuition and what that means to you. And for Memorial Day, there's a few things that I want to point out that there's things that people forget about Memorial Day. The first one is Congress has it enacted at 3 p.m. local time. So wherever you're at today, 3 p.m. local time is the time that you're supposed to take 1 minute of silence. So today at 3 o'clock my time here in Seattle, I will take 1 minute of silence to remember all of those that have come before me that have allowed me to be here today to share through Facebook Live, to have my spiritual practice in Seattle, to have my freedoms of what I do and be able to stand up for my rights and my ideas and my beliefs. That always wasn't given. And so at 3 o'clock local time, wherever you're at, you can take 1 minute of silence to remember those who have fallen in the line of duty to protect us and give us our freedoms. It's kind of cool because if there's a baseball game going on at that time, like Major League Baseball game, they actually stop the game and they honor and respect that 3 p.m. local time to take 1 minute of silence. I know the trains across the United States, Amtrak, all the engineers, 3 p.m. local time, wherever they're at, they all sound their horns together. So if you hear a train around 3 o'clock today, wherever you're at in the United States, that is because they're honoring those in the spirit world that are veterans that have given their life here today on Memorial Day. Memorial Day is celebrated in May. I don't know if you guys knew this or not, But Memorial Day is celebrated in May, and this is according to the Veterans Administration, because that's when flowers were most likely to start blooming across the United States all at the same time. So it's the last Monday in May that Memorial Day is celebrated and honored and represented. I was looking at stats to see how many people actually travel during Memorial Day. I don't personally travel during Memorial Day weekend. If you know the traffic here in Seattle, it already is horrible. You might as well times that by 10 on Memorial Day weekend. But it's estimated that 41.5 million people will be traveling across the United States this weekend on Memorial Day weekend. So if you're traveling, be safe out there. A lot of people on the road. So wanted to also share with you just real quick just some things about Memorial Day that people don't think of. When people say, Happy Memorial Day, it's really not a day of being happy. It's not Christmas, as I like to say. So, we say it just as a way of greeting, but if you look at the actual Memorial Day concept, it's honoring people that have given their life and sacrificed. You always thank your troops, always thank your veterans, always. But Memorial Day is probably the one day that you don't want to do that, because we should be thanking our current troops that are serving today every single day that we see them, because they're serving, they're sacrificing, they're on the front lines 24/7, 365, and we should be honoring them every day. And, they do deserve our respect and our gratitude. But this day, Memorial Day, is set aside for those that have fallen. So from the Civil War, Revolutionary War, World War I, World War II, the Vietnam War, the Korean War, the Iraq War, this is to represent those fallen. And, it's always interesting. I've always looked at the weather and nature when it comes to Memorial Day. It's hard to really remember a Memorial Day where it was really nice here in Seattle. Now, I know that's probably different for the rest of you, depending on where you're in the United States. I've just noticed it always rains on Memorial Day, and it was nice this morning, but it's gone cloudy, and it looks like it's going to rain here as I look out my window. And that's just a reminder for me that is the tears of the soldier cleansing from the spirit world back to the physical world. So, Memorial Day is a day of remembrance. It's a day of honor. It's a day of being grateful, and that's my cup for today. Grateful for all of those that have served before us, and those that have given their life to give us freedom. So again, when you're on Memorial Day today, I wouldn't recommend saying Happy Memorial Day, because it's not a day of being happy. I know that we have our consumerism in what we do, as far as don't let the day lose its importance, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Is we have barbecues, and we have special events, and we have sales on cars and furniture and patio furniture and pool day specials for Memorial Day, focused in on selling stuff. But the real concept, don't disregard its importance of Memorial Day weekend with the fact of honoring those that have served to give you the life that you're living right now. I myself am a veteran, gave 8 years of my life. I'm proud to have done it, would do it all over again. And just, I wanted to celebrate today's message on Metaphysical Mocha Mondays, talking about Memorial Day, the importance of it, to not disregard its importance of how people have served and given their lives. And the last thing I'll just say, I don't get into politics or religion on my show, but I know that don't let politics keep you from rendering respect for those soldiers. Regardless, even if you don't agree with war, the idea of war, or the persons in charge, the commander-in-chief, the administration, the politics that go behind, war. If you don't agree with it, I don't agree with war personally, but people have defended our ideas, our beliefs, our interests for well over 200 years, and you're able to do what you do today because of the people before you. And as a student of life, I have a lot of honor and respect for that. I don't let the politics get in the way of honoring the soldiers, regardless of where you're at on your beliefs in war or not going to war. But it is your right. You have a right to disagree with the reasons for war, but it should be separate from the opinion of the troops themselves. is what I'm trying to get into. And in this day and age, and in social media, and in politics and religion, and everybody's got an opinion about something. Try to separate those two. Don't let the politics get in the way of honoring people that have protected our way of life for over 200 years and have given us a country. If you even go back to the founding fathers, you go back to Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, John Adams, Alexander Hamilton, James Madison. They didn't get along. If you know your history, it's easier to understand what's going on today because it hasn't changed. It's just more covered with media. But when you understand your history, you understand better where you're going in your own path. So today's mantra is Veterans Day, and the mantra for this week is just honoring all who have served. Past, present, and those that are about to serve in the future. That is this week's mantra for Veterans Day, for Memorial Day, honoring all who have served, those in the spirit world, those that are here present. That's your mantra. So if you see a veteran, you see somebody that's in uniform, and again, when I mean uniform, I don't mean just military. I mean first responders, I mean firefighters, I mean police officers. Thank them. Thank them for the work that they're doing 24/7, 365, things that you don't see as a retired firefighter, EMT, working around the clock, early morning hours when we're all sleeping. There are people that are up protecting us, taking us to the hospital, saving lives, keeping the country safe. So if you see somebody in uniform, please make sure to thank them. Buy them a coffee, give them a handshake, give them a smile, give them a hug. But that's the importance of, serving. And when you serve, like I have, you get a better understanding of how fragile things really are. And without those people serving and protecting, we wouldn't have the freedoms and the life that we have today. So thank you for tuning in today. This is Metaphysical Mocha Mondays. We are talking about Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day specifically today, the last Monday, in honor of the fallen soldiers that have served and given us our freedom. I want to give you your crystal for the week. If you haven't ever worked with crystals, there are a lot of fun prospecting stones, as I like to say. We actually had a fun radio show last week. The book I have is actually right here. It's called The Crystal Muse. They sent it to me. A really nice book. Both authors on Hay House, a part of Hay House Publishing, and it was a great show on how to use crystals. So if you haven't ever worked with crystals or rocks, I'm a big rock hound. When I go out hiking, I'm always picking up heart-shaped rocks. I'm always looking for different stones, and I bring them home and I stack them. I think my wife's about fed up with how many stacks of stones I have around the house. But stones carry a lot of power, a lot of energy. I call them like little amplifiers. So this week's stone is called Botswana agate. Botswana, Botswana agate. It's kind of a clear grayish color, but what it does, if you want to look up Botswana agate, it brings forth peace, serenity, and healing. And I thought it would be a good prospecting stone to have this week because we need more serenity, we need more peace, we need more healing. There's a lot going on in the world, the chaos. It's no different, though, than history past. The history of the world has always been chaotic, fast-paced, going. Our goal and our role is to slow down and kind of disconnect from it so we don't get caught up in it and we can understand our own journey. Dana, you're very welcome. Dana's saying, thank you for clarifying what Memorial Day means. Yeah, that's just my personal, I wanted to share that message today on Metaphysical Mocha Monday because I, as a veteran, I've connected with many loved ones in the spirit world that have served and been in uniform, and this is just my way of honoring those that have fallen and those that are in the spirit world today, Memorial Day. It's not about yard sales, not about barbecues, it's not about anything other than respecting and honoring those that have served that are no longer with us and are in the spirit world. So today at 3 p.m. local time, wherever you're at, just take 1 minute of your busy life and take a moment of silence to remember those. Even if you don't know somebody personally, you can think about the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Coast Guard, the Air Force, the 5 major services that protect this country on many different scales, and all of the first responders that are serving, firefighters, police officers, nurses, EMTs, and just thank somebody. I'm sure you know at least one category that somebody would fall in that you know personally. Thank them and honor them, and of course remember those in the spirit world. So today's prospecting stone again, is the Botswana agate. It represents peace, serenity, and healing. Our positive mantra is thanking those for honoring all who have served. Simple mantra for this week. Honoring all who have served. It's pretty simple, right? And then I want to get into the totem animal for the week. And again, I'll be logging off here. This show will end, but then if you want to come back for overtime, I will be logged back on here on the Intuitive Prospector page. If you haven't liked the page, please make sure to like it. Please make sure to turn on the notifications when I'm live. Like I said, I go between this page and the Om Times Institute page. Today I am on the Intuitive Prospector page. You get notifications when I'm live, and then you can interact with me directly for a reading. I'll be doing mediumship readings today on overtime, Q&A after show, which starts at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I'll be doing spiritual guidance. I've got a couple decks out here, right to the left, to the right of me that I'll be pulling. So if you want some spiritual guidance, make sure to come back at 8:30 for the overtime show. This totem animal for this week is the butterfly. Specifically the yellow monarch butterfly, yellow and black. May is, again, Memorial Day is celebrated in May because the flowers across the country all came out. So it was strategically planned to have Memorial Day honored in Monday, the last Monday of May, because May represents, you hear the, April showers brings forth May flowers. But at the same time, I've noticed that a lot of life comes out when there's a lot of flowers out, specifically in my yard. So the butterfly is representation of lightening up and not taking everything so seriously, but also releasing from the cocoon phase that you've been in and having that higher perspective of living a life that you have been wanting, and getting ready for big changes, moving out of habits, moving away from old ways of thinking to new ways of thinking. And just a new way of being is emerging. So that is your totem animal for the week. So pay attention to any butterflies. And again, the flowers are out. That brings the butterflies, and it's a whole chain that's connected to nature. Love nature. The numerology number for this week is number 55. So 55. The adventure card. So pay attention to any 5-5 energy, or 5 plus 5 is 10. So the number for numerology is 10 or 55 this week, and just some adventures that you might be going on. If you pay attention to your external environment, if you pay attention to what I call signs, symbols, and synchronistic events, it could be representation through music, through movies, through numbers, the spiritual world, the unseen world. I like to refer it to like the wind. We see the effects of the wind, but we don't actually see the wind with our human eye. The spirit world interacts with us much the same way. We don't see the spirit world with our physical eyes. Some of you might. I have a few times in my journey, but it's very rare to actually see a spirit person in the spirit world. It's more of impressions and getting the effects of the spirit world and things on how we feel, things that we just know. And so, if you pay attention this week through your intuition and your awareness, that's when you start to see that there's a much bigger world, than what you see right before you. So pay attention to that. Check out the Botswana agate that I talked about. Check out the butterfly. Pay attention to the number 55 or the number 10 this week, because that means that an adventure is about to unfold for you. And most importantly, just honoring all who have served, past, present, and future, and honoring Memorial Day, not necessarily saying Happy Memorial Day because it's not necessarily a happy day, but just saying I honor those that have served. And at 3 o'clock today, if you want to take a moment of silence, just as a reminder, take a moment of silence at 3 p.m. Local time, wherever you're at, and honor those for 1 minute, just giving respect to those that have served before us, and have allowed us to have the life that we have today. So I am very grateful. I am very honored to have served, and just want to thank you for hanging out with me today on Metaphysical Mocha Mondays. I do have Forest Fridays that are taking place now, so if you are in the Seattle area, here in the Pacific Northwest, the next hike is this next Friday, June 1st. We are going to be heading to Twin Falls, Fun Falls, for some meditation, some Qigong, Bring your own equipment, bring your own lunch, and I'll be leading the hike. It's an easy hike. It's not hard, but if you want to learn more about that hike, just go to marclanehart.com. You can internet search the Intuitive Prospector. I'm here in Seattle, Washington, so this is a local hike. Have a couple events coming up, but if you want to get out in nature, if you want to hang out and do a reading, visit marclanehart.com to get all that information. I just want to thank you again for hanging out with me today. Celebrate Memorial Day with a way of honoring and respecting those that have served. And I'll be back next Monday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Stick around. I'll be right back for the Overtime Q&A after show if you want to have a conversation, direct reading. And until our next soul adventure together, be kind, be caring, be compassionate. Namaste.